It's the year 2019. We're at an age where technology is a society constant. Xbox, PlayStation, Wii. When you think of video games, it's likely that some of these names will pop into your head. It is also likely that you'll conjure up images of Super Mario stomping on bad guys, or of enemy warriors battling on an alien planet, or of your own James Bond-esque spy mission in a 3D virtual world. In particular, life would not be as it were if not for video games. In case you somehow don't know, a video game is an electronic game that involves interaction with the user interface to generate visual feedback on a video device such as a TV screen or a computer monitor. A few of the most favorite video games would be Overwatch and Fortnite, which has become extremely popular owing to a monumental moment of a famous rapper, Drake, dropping in to play the game on Twitch. In these days, video games aren't just for tech geeks, nor are they purely for entertainment value. In fact, games have been put to use in a new way altogether, as a platform for educational, business, and therapeutic purposes.
Wow.
We can all agree that today, video games have made immense impacts on the modern-day society, hence resulting in what this video is about, video game culture. Video game culture is a worldwide new media subculture formed by video games. As computer and video games have exponentially increased in popularity over time, they've had a significant influence on popular culture. Video game culture has also evolved over time hand in hand with internet culture, as well as the increasing popularity of mobile games. Many people who play video games are identified as gamers, which can mean anything from someone who enjoys games to someone who is passionate about it. As video games become more social with multiplayer and online capability, gamers find themselves in growing social networks. Gaming can both be entertainment as well as competition, as a new trend known as electronic sports is becoming more widely accepted. Today, video games can be seen in social media, politics, television, film, music, and YouTube. While yes, one may think that video games don't seem as important as telecommunications, social media, and all the modern-day conveniences we need to live an optimal life, we neglect to think about just how much video games influence, shape, and impact our culture. In fact, our culture has been influenced by video games for more than 30 years, starting with classic games like Pong in 1972 and Space Invaders in 1978, which kickstarted a cultural revolution. Other examples include Pokemon, which became the most popular children's toy in 1999, and Sega's Sonic the Hedgehog in 1992. These franchises have served as not only mascots, but also popular culture icons. Every kid who grew up in the 90s has at least heard of them. Over that 30-year span, approximately 7 generations of video games have been created de facto. It sprang from consoles and arcade games to online gaming and virtual reality. This gives a setup to a whole new culture. Other examples in today's culture are how video games shape our culture into what it is today, such as Pokemon. When it was introduced in the 90s, it started out as 3 games: Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue, and Pokemon Yellow. As documented by Quet Square in his article, Video Games in Education, he had noted that Pokemon had developed from just a simple video game to a cultural phenomenon. After spinning off into a trading card game, TV show, multiple movies, lines of toys, and more games, it became a staple in youth culture. Another example is in Super Mario Bros. Back in the 80s, it quickly became so popular that Mario had become Nintendo's mascot, to a point where there is likely not a single person who doesn't know Mario. In the 80s, there is one mascot who was not so well known outside of Japan, Segata Sanshiro. Sanshiro would become a Chuck Norris-like figure known for accomplishing impossible feats while promoting the Sega Saturn. Sanshiro later became known in the United States and has become an icon for video gamers of the 80s. video games, once viewed as a mindless source of entertainment, are now being featured in publications such as the New Yorker magazine and the New York Times. With the development of increasingly complex musical scores and the advance of machinima, the boundaries between video games and other forms of media are slowly blurring. While they may not be considered art by everyone, video games have contributed significantly to modern artistic culture. In 2009, there are such games developing into art as Flower and Katamari series. In the former, players control the flow of flower petals in the wind, while the latter are built around the idea of creation, requiring players to pull together a massive clump of objects in order to create a star. While yes, arguments can still be made for video games and their connection to violence, there can conversely be arguments made for video games and their beneficial, positive effect on our world today. The world has been molded and shaped today by the characters we grow to love and adore. And hopefully, as video games continue to make leaps into a new future, so shall we. Thanks for watching.